they finally gained accuracy, visibility, and control across all companies. Let's start at the beginning. This wasn't just one manufacturer. This was a group of steel building companies under one umbrella. What were they dealing with when you first walked in?
We implemented Dynamics 365 Finance and Supply Chain, a fully dedicated cloud-based solution.
I'm joined by Abdul at our Virginia office, our lead solutions architect and partner here at Ascent Innovations. Abdul, thank you for being here.
Thanks, Sarika. Excited to talk about this project. It was one of the challenging and rewarding steel building implementations we have done.
Okay, let's start at the beginning. This wasn't just one manufacturer. This was a group of steel building companies under one umbrella. What were they dealing with when you first walked in?
Right. Each company was using a different ERP system, a different costing method, a different inventory process. It was like walking into three different unrelated companies. Supply chain was tracked in one system, the production and finished goods were maintained in another access-based system, and the financials were in another ERP altogether. Generating statements for the bank was a major time-consuming process, and they had little confidence in that report. We implemented Dynamics 365 Finance and Supply Chain, a fully dedicated cloud-based solution with three legal entities and configuring the intercompany trade and the financial consolidation. We implemented two costing methods, FIFO for the project accounting and profitability, and the current price of commodity, based on the current price of commodity for inventory valuation and financial institutions, since that's what they care about.
How about the engineering challenges?
They rely heavily on the metal building systems and Tekla design structures for engineering models. After the design team have been done with their designs, these systems generate the 3D model and export the building parts. The columns, beams, channels, purlins, girts, those kind of parts. But none of these data flowed into the production. The buildings are made to order, so pretty much customized. It's even more challenging when they have change orders, which is very common in this business, which would mean adjustments to the building parts and the fabrication instructions. The fabrication teams were sometimes cutting steel using outdated PDFs, and engineering designs were relying primarily on some, I have to read.
You may have faced some challenges on the inventory, especially dealing with heavy stuff like metal and steel. How big was the warehouse?
The fabrication teams were cutting steel using outdated PDFs while the engineering was releasing new design revisions. That could mean metal parts cut to the wrong length, bolt holes in the wrong places, well-detailed instructions missing, constant rework. It's like really a big problem. It has a direct impact on the gross margins of the buildings. The executives didn't have any idea on the profitability of the contracts and the impact of the change orders.
You mentioned traceability and compliance. Can you elaborate more on that?
We've implemented a strong change management control and workflow process. When each change order request comes in, it was initiated by the sales team that would be notified to all the teams and processed downstream that will be impacted by this change order. This allowed the sales team to price the impact of the change order accurately and inform the customer of the impact. This also had a huge impact on the overall sales process and the project traceability as well as the profitability of the project.
This sounds very complex to me. Where do you even begin with something this complex?
Absolutely. Inventory was another major challenge. Moving inventory is a big process. Finding it, then getting to the machinery and the labor to move it, loading it and unloading it. Efficiency played a big role. They had to track the coil inventory, plate inventory, galvanized inventory, shop supplies, assembly supplies, and drops. That was a big issue because they were not tracked at all, which by itself caused inventory issues as well as costing issues to the contract. They were initially taking the full metal piece and taking whatever was needed for the contract and put the cost of the whole raw material on the contract, which messed up the whole costing method. You can imagine how costing and traceability and compliance started to fall apart. regarding the size. It's multiple warehouses, including yards. Sometimes the stuff could be in trailers as well. However, we still organized everything in warehouses and locations, and shop supplies and fasteners were put in bins.
It must have felt great to hear these comments, and it sounds like a game changer. Engineering updates flows instantly, accurate staging, visibilities into vendors. It changes how these teams operate.
The steel traceability is done in something called heat numbers. Heat numbers were not consistently recorded and was very manual, especially when the steel went out for galvanizing, paper cutting, plate cutting, and roll forming. The tags will get lost. We implemented heat number traceability through the whole cycle, and we eliminated a lot of paperwork. How do we do that? We started from the Milters report, tracking the heat number from the Milters report, and through the shipping documents that we get in, and then through the whole process of production and shipment, outbound shipment. This eliminated a lot of paperwork, and also very important is this has a compliance implications. When dealing with commercial buildings and public places like airports, airports, bridges, schools, churches, shopping malls, this is very important. The customer service became much more robust and paperless.
I love that. You can feel the difference between running disconnected systems and running one unified operation, especially in steel, where every decision affects cost, safety, and scheduling.
We focus on two pillars. One, unifying the company, both operationally and financially. And second, engineering, connecting the departments within the organization, meaning the engineering, the manufacturing, and the delivery. For unification, we moved all the companies into Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations. We standardized item model groups, costing, financial dimensions, warehousing, and we also implement something called schedule of value. This is good for phase delivery to show that the report that shows the delivery of the value. And also we implemented project accounting for each contract. Every entity and the vendors now finally spoke the same language. We built financial consolidation solution for private equities. We built financial consolidation solution for private equity ownership, as well as for the CFO and the managers to manage internally. For engineering and production, we built a full Tekla to Dynamics 365 integration. Manufacturing bombs, part list connectors, weld symbols, fasteners, it all flowed very directly into the Dynamics system. No more re-entering into the Excel, no more outdated PDFs. While engineering was updating the model, the production saw it instantaneously. One of the production supervisors told us, this is the first time in his 10 years at the company that the engineering team and the manufacturing team are completely now aligned. The financial analyst who managed the estimation sheets in a bunch of Excel spreadsheets, his comment was, now I can finally sleep at night, not worrying about the errors in the Excel sheets. We have also implemented advanced warehousing with location control, drop tracking, heat number tracking, staging, and delivery based on erection schedule tied to the product phases. For the mixed fabrication model, we completely configured the intercompany purchase orders and subcontracting work orders for outsourcing, galvanizing, plate cutting, roll forming, and painting.
Abdul, thank you so much for sharing this. It's incredible to see how deeply this transformation impacted every part of their business, from engineering to the shop floor to the leadership.
Exactly, and it all showed up in the results. Inventory tracking jumped dramatically. The coils, the plates, parts, assemblies were finally matching the physical counts. The Tekla revisions flowed into production automatically, so no rework. Heat number traceability became a very reliable process and reducing the risk. And the month-end closing process became much faster. The costs and the financial structures were pretty standardized. And the leadership finally got real-time visibility across all the companies and all the projects. And profitability improved because the labor, the scrap, the outsource work were captured correctly. Thanks, Erika. I'm glad to share. I work closely with several steel companies and I'm currently supporting one engagement. I enjoy diving into new projects because in most cases I've already encountered and resolved the challenges organizations are facing.
Thank you, Abdul, for your time.
Thank you.
If you're in the steel industry and looking to modernize engineering, fabrication, inventory, or visibility across companies, we'd love to talk. Reach out to us using that information in the description and stay tuned for our next case study conversation. Thank you.